Cryptocurrency legend, how you guys doing? My audience, my stockbroking legends, how you guys doing? So guys, hope you guys are doing good. Sorry for a little bit noise, and I'm riding to my house. So today we are talking about how to run a successful and sustainable business in this current economy. Uh, the book of Proverbs said, there is time for everything on earth, a time to sow and a time to reap. You see, and if this time is not properly followed, there is tendency, yes, for one to be sowing when you are supposed to be reaping, or there is tendency for one to be reaping when you are supposed to be sowing. Okay, my journey from the world of as a banker many years ago, when I was working in the bank as a former banker. So I knew that working as a banker cannot give me the financial freedom I need through multitude of books that I've read. Not just those ones I read when I was in school, yeah, but the ones I advised myself that I should buy and purchase and begin to read in order to break through in order to educate myself financially. Because I discovered that so many rich people on earth today, Bill Gates, some of the top people that people value, they are not, they're dropouts. But how did they become so rich? When I mean rich, stinkly rich. How did they become innovators? How did they become generals of mighty businesses globally? So I was answering myself this question, and I discovered that it boils down to increasing your financial intelligence. So that led me to buying some courses, some books online, signing up for trainings, workshop that has to do with finance. Even despite I work uh, in a financial institution, but I felt that that is not enough. So I stumbled in the book called Robert Kiyosaki. It talks about cash flow quadrant. So I sat with this book. I read it over and over. I read a lot of books about how the Jews create wealth. How did they become number one in real estate, in finance, in globally they control major firms. Even when I traveled to Georgia, most of the banks there are run by the Jews. I said, how did these people come to this enlightenment that gave them such dominion and bring them to that class whereby they have dominion in finance? I said, God, I need to study this thing. So I began investing in books about finances. Even when I was working in the bank, people were like, I signed up for a course. Whenever they see me, I'm always reading, at my free time, in the bank during the lunchtime and all that. So through this book, Robert Kiyosaki, and other books I've read, I understood how, and some seminars I attended, while in the bank. I think one of the seminars I attended, I paid about $500. even when that was, even when my salary was not up to $500 then in the bank per month. You see, so but I knew the benefits of enlightenment, because in the book of Genesis, before God created anything, He said, "Let there be light." So for me to create my own world, God created the whole world, and He wants us to create our own world. The emergence of individual kingdoms. So I began to seek for light, the way God Himself said, "Let there be light." I began to buy books, listen to messages, tapes that has to do with a particular aspect of light, a particular aspect of knowledge that has to do with finance. There are different forms of knowledge, so I focus on this part. So when I got that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, I studied economic indicators, how government controls the masses, how government control employment, different sectors through their policies, how government use some financial data like interest rates, like inflation, like trade balance, those economic indicators to control the masses, to control employment, to control manufacturing, to control different sectors from their office through policies. So when I understood about inflation, interest rates, this turned my financial life around. So I was like, so the money I'm saving in the bank is losing value. You can go in. The money I save in the bank is, go and open the money I save in the bank is losing value. So every year the bank will pay me 5%, and the inflation rate is more than 20 something percent. Most people do not know this. So many people that are learned, bankers, lawyers, most people don't understand that the money they keep in bank is losing value. So instead of getting rich, one is going poor by the day. Because of what? Financial illiteracy. So I was like, your 100,000 naira salary they paid you at the end of the month, after you have used it to buy one or two things and you were able to save just 20,000 naira, okay, let me save it in the bank. If you do that continuously for 12 months, do you know that the 5% they pay you per annum, you are losing almost 20 something percent on it? So if you net it out, you see that you're on the losing side. So I was like, wow. So how can this be fixed? And this thing is not just applicable to individuals. It's also applicable to the government. That's why you see government borrowing money. Just like some individual, they will pay them salary before the end of the month. The salary will not be enough. You still see them borrowing money from someone. They will now hope that at the end of the next month, they can now receive their pay and then pay back the people they borrowed money from, which is not supposed to be so. So I know a lot of you here understand what I'm saying. The salary you earn today or the money you are making today is not enough. Is there anybody that the money they are making is enough? Can you just raise up your hand? Bright, you're welcome. I'm recording this video, so I will send it to the groups. So the money we are being paid, sir, please, the money you are paid in your as a salary, if it is not enough for you, can you raise up your hand? Let's see. It's not enough because of what? These economic data that the government influence. They influence interest rates. They influence inflation. When the inflation rate is going more higher and the money you are being paid is not being increased by the same percentage that inflation rate is at, so how can you break free and be financially free? Indeed. So we need to sit down and begin to analyze this thing. So I sat down, I said, this rat race, people will go to work at the end of the day. Even people that are outside the country, they are also working. As they are working, they are using it to pay bills. So life is all about working and paying bills. So what about the time that we can use to develop ourselves? Develop the God-willing deposits that He has deposited in us. So what about the time early in the morning we are off and we'll do this thing for 70 years? And the funniest thing is that most people are working where God has not called them to work. Some people are supposed to work where God has called them to work, but because of financial issues, they still see themselves working where they know that this is not where God wants me to work, but I have to pay the bills. And this thing continues for years. And the strength of man do not increase. Man on earth run with times. Time is the vital thing on earth. Every minute, every second counts. You know that God has told you to do something for Him, but because of that thing cannot pay your bills immediately, cannot take care of your children. So you now abandon what God told you to do and then be working as a staff somewhere else in order to feed, in order to pay bills. So this is the reason why this program is being held, so that so many people can know how to give themselves time. Maybe, okay, I'll work in this place for 5 years, for 7 years, and then save money. And then not just save it, invest it properly. And where to invest it properly so that I can have this financial freedom. So I can do what I want to do. I can pursue my life purpose. So I can begin to open the book of my life, because so many people book of life have not been opened. They are still working on other people's book of life, other people's vineyard. You see, that's why you see some people, they know what God tell them, they know what God has given them, the assignment that God has given them, but because that thing cannot pay them bills, they say, I know I have to do this. So that is what God is consigned to take care of today. So it happened to me. I'm a living witness. I was working in a bank, but I did not like bank job. I don't like bank job. I said, what God has given me, the vision that God has given me is to help the masses. Sponsor programs, innovations. But how can I do this? To sponsor his work on earth so that his ministry of Yahshua, the ministry of Yahshua, the ministry of Jesus Christ can be spread abroad. But this has to do with finance. But the bank that I'm working in cannot give me such money. So how can we now go around it? I'm working in a bank. I said, God, there must be a way. And God said, if you want to create, the first thing to create first is enlightenment. So as we are here, despite I'm going to give you some few coins to buy, but the first thing you should know how to create is how to enlighten yourself with books. Just this meeting is not enough. So what you do after this meeting, it what matters for your financial freedom. So God wants you to start investing. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it says invest in foreign trades. Invest. Do not, the little things you are getting now, do not say it's too small. Know how to invest properly. And that is where light has to come in. That is where buying books has to come in. That is where paying for seminars. Look out for seminars that has to do with finance. There are so many people, they are literate, they are doctors in different fields. But when it comes to financial knowledge, they are ignorant. They don't know how to manage their finance properly. So the rat race continues. But when you know how to manage your finance properly, you break free. And one of the instruments you can use in doing it is what? Number one, remember I said, is to enlighten yourself first. Give yourself financial light first. So, academical light is not enough. That's why so many nurses are staying there in UK. They are working, they are using their time and their distance, the money they make to keep paying bills every month. Now, if you know that there's a problem, that Nigeria or whichever country you are from, that the inflation rate is higher than what you are getting in your bank account, then you know what to do. You know that how can I beat this inflation rate? Inflation is simply the consistent rise in goods and services. The price of goods and services are rising. And the only way money comes to you is through what? Either through goods or either through services. Then you now say, what can I do as a man to overcome this inflation rate that is around 20-something%? The salary they are paying me, do they increase my salary by 25% every month? If they are not doing, every year, if they are not doing that, that means the system is already robbing you of your purchasing power. So you need to come down and say, okay, how can I move from being an employee, which is on the left quadrant, or how can I move from being a self-employed person, which is from the left quadrant? How can I move from the left quadrant, which is self-employed, How can I move from the left quadrant, which is employed? E and X stands for employment and self-employed. So many people that call themselves professionals, they are professionally self-employed. You see so many bankers, you see so many lawyers, they have their own chamber, but they have to be there. They have to go to courts in order to earn a living. They have to be there presently in order to earn a living. If they are not there, nothing works. So today I'll be teaching you how to move from if you are not there, nothing works, to how to move to even though you are not there, things will keep working. Because now you will leverage on system. You will also leverage on what? You also leverage on human resources. Because it is more easier to move from self-employed to a business owner. So many people have registered their business, their self. They registered they went to CAC and said they registered business. But sir, what they registered is not business yet. It's still self-employed. Because that shop you opened, that you said that this is my business. If you are not there, can you leave that shop for 1 year? 1 year is much. Can you leave that shop for 2 months? And 2 months is much. Can you leave that shop for even 1 month? And then everything will keep working without calling for your attention. Without calling for your attention, you can leave that place. They won't call for your attention for 1 month. So if that thing you are doing, you can't leave it for 1 month without the business calling for your immediate attention, that means you are still running a self-employed. You are still self-employed. You are not running a business yet. Because for you to run a business, you can leave that business and things works. People that run Access Bank, the CEOs and the owners, the directors, do they go to every branches? No, they don't do that. The system runs. You might work in a branch and then throughout your career in the banking industry there, or throughout 1 year, throughout 2 years, you will even see any director come there to come and do anything. Because of what? Or the owners. Because of what? They have fixed a system that runs on autopilot. They have leveraged human resources that works for them. This is what is called creating a sustainable business, a successful and a sustainable business in this current economy. If you open a shop, maybe you are self-employed, right? Inflation is going up. You don't care. Because once the government, increase once inflation goes up, goods and services are going up. You also put it in your, goods and service. Whatever you buy, you sell. Whatever you buy, you sell, isn't it? Or your services, you can increase your services too. Good. But can this your business, can this your self-employed, is it sustainable? What about something happen, health challenge? What about COVID happen? What about health challenge? Or what about something happen and then you are not old, or you can't, or something happen, you can't be there? Will that business survive? Will that thing you call business, which I know is not business yet, will that survive without your attention for 1 month? So if that will not survive your attention, if that will call your attention, and then you can't be free from it from 1 month, then it is not business yet. So for you to create a business, how can you create a sustainable business? It's by leveraging on people, leveraging on system. Get books on how to put a system on your business. So there are people that came to recently to paint my house. I said, do you know you're a painter, but you can create business around this? Why not network with other painters and form a company, draft a proposal, give to people that are building real estates, let them call you to come and paint. Even though you are busy, you know, negotiate with other painters, send them there, they will go there and work, then you take the profits. Today, people are running outsourcing firms, sending staffs to different organizations. What do? There's a problem of employment in the country. People are not getting jobs. What do? They call all those people that are not getting jobs. Why come together? They begin to train them. They train them. That's okay in different, depending on where they want to send them to. You know, they get a HR, a human resource person to come and train them, and these people are now providing staffs for different organizations. They are there in hospitals. They are there in banks. They are there in different firms. And how did they come in? They negotiated with those companies that, okay, you people are paying your staff 300,000. What about we reducing that payments for you people? Pay us 150,000. Then we'll get you a staff that can also work the way your main staff is working, so that the salary you use in paying staff can be reduced. And organizations saw that as, wow, this is intelligent. So how can we trust this staff? So we have already trained them. You can trust them. Anything they do, hold us liable for that. You see, and what happened? Those people started working, they employed them, and they are making money. So they will not pay the organization, the assessing organization.
I want to go to school.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, see you. I'm in a car. They will pay them, the people that are the outsourcing company, they pay them salary of those workers in different organizations and firms. And those people will not be the one to pay those staffs. So it's no, I'm busy. Oh yeah. So it is not the staff of those organizations. Maybe you see some of their staff working in Access Bank, some of their staff working in GT Bank. So it is not the staff of GT Bank. It is the staff of the company that outsourced them. You see, as a CEO now, you are creating wealth without there. You are leveraging on people. There's a security problem in Nigeria. People create a security company, employ them to work in different organizations. They hold us liable. We have trained these people. At least we know, we have told them to bring guarantors, people that can guarantee them, that has property or that have something that we can lay hold on. So they'll now push those security people in different organizations. At the end of the month, they pay the company, and the company pay those staffs doing security in different places. Same thing happened to cleaners. Employ a lot of people that don't have job anywhere. So you can do this thing. Even you can also do it. Cleaners employ people, train them. They bring guarantors to push them. So whatever you are doing, you can do this thing. You are a painter, you can do this thing. And get so many painters. You know, people that know what they are doing. Train them. Those companies that are building all those real estate companies and all that, push them there. They will go and work, and they will pay you the money you pay them. You are leveraging on people. That is how to build a sustainable business. This business, you can put it, you have a accountant, have everything. Even though you are not there, the business is running. We know how many staff we have in different organizations that we have supplied them, that are working there. At the end of the month, You are receiving the money your company is receiving the money, and then the accountant and the financial people, they are disbursing the money to your workers. So you can actually create business from a sustainable business, leverage on people. So there is work. So these are mindsets. You can also do it in the shops. Those shops you have, okay, you open the shop in different, or maybe Alaba International or in Trade Fair. You see, you can also leverage. Use the internet to leverage. So there are many businesses we can create by using women as leverage. You are using them as leverage. Them too, they are happy because they are making money too for their families. So it is more easier. It is more easier to move from the S quadrant to the B quadrant, and it is more easier for the people in the E quadrant to move to the I quadrant. So if you are working as an employer of a company, they pay you salary. You and God knows that salary will not be enough, because as the more you are working in that company, they are not increasing your salary by the same rates inflation is increasing. So the best thing you need to do is to advise yourself, set aside some money, and then begin to educate yourself on real estates, on stocks, on real assets, on risk assets, where you will begin to invest your money in. So as you are investing your money in those real assets, as you are investing your money in those real estates, you are making more money. After some time, you see that those money will germinate. Those resources you have cast in different water. The Bible says, cast your bread in different waters of revelation. Water represents knowledge, ideas. Water represents revelations. Cast your bread in different waters. Any idea so that this thing is good revelation, invest in it. It must not be much. Don't go and carry all your money and put it there, or put something that you know that after some time you want the money back. Just put something you know that, okay, you just set aside something that you know that this thing, even though you lose it, it doesn't matter. But believe you me, I did this thing when I was in the bank. I was setting aside something I know that it doesn't matter. And can you imagine, after a few years, those investments gave me money I have never made in the banking industry. If you calculate all my salary together and add it over the years, those minute investment I made in those, I cast in those water of good ideas that Christ talked about, cast your bread in different water, they became what brought my financial freedom. That I have to resign from the bank honorably. I say, in fact, me just being here is wasting my time, because my investment alone is giving me more than my monthly income, more than my monthly salary. So why am I staying here? Let me expand knowledge. Let me expand the knowledge, freedom to me. That was how I left the banking industry. We can also this process. It is not a rocket science. It's done. It can be done by anybody. It can be done. It's not a rocket science. So it's not a rocket science. We can do this. It's not a rocket science. So we should try as much as possible to know that there is problem. Now I want to walk in the field that God has destined me to walk. Despite I'm working in the field where God has said, okay, you are permitted, but not my perfect will. That is permissive will, but not the perfect will of God. So you can as well work there for some time, save money, invest properly. Savings is not investment. Once you make money, you invest properly in good ideas, good innovations, which I'll be telling you one or two today. and where to invest your money in good ideas. Remember, you still have to pray over it. Before you invest, pray over it. Remember, I said you must remain in the vine. God is the one that will lead you, that will say, okay, yes, do this. Do not do it. In the Bible said, do not depend on your wisdom, but what? Depend on the wisdom of God. Do not depend on your expertise. So most of the time, before I take my final decision, I ask God, Lord, should I go? Will I win this battle? Will I be successful? I say, yeah, go and invest. Then I invest. Sometimes I say, no, yeah, not yet. The analysis might be right. The calculations might be right. I've done all the calculations. The idea is bright. But God said, don't. I hold on. The few times He said don't and I moved, I regretted it. So I've taught myself lesson to pray, to know how to hear His voice is the key. Know how He guides you. If you don't know how He guides you, you cannot be rich, you cannot be wealthy, you cannot be financially free. Because the things we are fighting, they are principalities and powers. They are rulers of darkness. Those beings are ETs, they are intelligent beings too. They are fallen angels, they are intelligent. They don't want you to be financially free. So you have to depend on the super intelligent being, which is God Almighty and the Holy Ghost, to give you direction. Even after you have done your analysis, after you have done your background check, before you invest in a company, I do tell people, look at the CEO of that company. Do your background check on him. Look at the feasibility studies. This company, will it do very well in the next 10 years? Is the idea bright? Even after you have done all the analysis, does it have global demand, or does it have or is the demand within a state, or the demand of this asset, is it within a country? The demand of this asset, is it globally? You see? So and then ask God, should I? He will not tell you yes or no before you invest. You see? So now I've told you guys how to move from X to B. Now, how to move from E, which is you are an employee in different country, maybe you are an employee in a particular organization or a firm. You can get yourself enlightened. You can be reading books, following people on Instagram that has to talk, anybody that talks about finance, investment coaches. Follow them on YouTube, listen to them. And as well, get yourself equipped so that even though they tell you to do a thing, you have the lights to look at it, whether it is what you want. You have the knowledge on your own. So financial information is for everybody. Whether you are a banker, you need it. Whether you are a pastor, you need it. Whether you are working as a military personnel, you need it. Whether you are a retiree, you have finished working, you have retired, you also need financial intelligence to know how to manage the little one you have. So it will be enough before you leave the earth. And you have something to hand over to your children before you leave. So everybody needs it. And the thing about it, even though you are a lecturer, you also need financial knowledge. So many lecturers are not financially literate. That's why some of them, you go and check their car very. Some of them don't even have cars. Some of them don't have building of their own. They are just teaching. But what they are teaching, they will pay them salary and they will use it to pay bills. So they also need this knowledge. Everybody needs it. Pastors need it. Everybody needs financial knowledge to know how to manage your finance properly. To know the game that the government is playing and to know how to break free from those from those games. When you understand the game of interest rates, when the government is about to cut interest rates, you know what will happen. when the government is about to increase interest rate, you know what will happen. So if you have this knowledge, you know where to move into. If they're cutting interest rate, you know that once they cut interest rate, the risk on asset will do very well. You go there first and invest. Okay, assuming okay, look at this forest factory. It gives you all the data. Those data point, they have different impacts. There are ones that have high impact, low impact, and medium impact, based on the percentage, based on the readings. But you might not understand that because it's technical. I don't want to go in there much. But look at the two main ones, which is called inflation and interest rate. When the government is cutting interest rate, means that they want to expand the economy. When they cut interest rates, more manufacturers will come and borrow money at a cheap rate and then expand more factories. But when they increase interest rates, that means manufacturers will lack money to expand things. They will lack money because the money will be so high. If those money, they will not put it in the goods after they have manufactured. Maybe they are manufacturing Bonvita at 1,000 naira before. When government cuts the interest rate, now government increase the interest rate, they will not add 500. It's not 1,500. You see, so what will happen? There will be inflation. So knowing when to run, when the government cuts the interest rates, you run into risk asset, because those risk assets will do well. Companies will be doing well, economy will be flourishing. But when you see that government have started increasing interest rates, you do what? You quickly sell off your risk assets. You sell off your risk asset. When I mean risk assets, I mean stocks. I mean digital assets. You sell those risk assets off. And then do you know what to do? You move into what? Real estate, which are real assets. You move into fixed deposits. You move into treasury bills, those ones that your capital is preserved. So if you know how to do this, I'm telling you, within 1 year or 2 years, you will break free financially. So today, the government of Nigeria, what are they doing? Are they cutting interest rate or are they increasing? You can just check what is the interest rates for the past from 2000 from January to now. What is the interest rate? Once you check, you will know what you are supposed to be doing in your financial decision. So this one will give you a guide to know, because once you invest in stock, the stock goes up, you make like 10x. Maybe you have 1 million naira, you make 10x in the stock, or 1 million has turned to 10 million naira. If you don't take it out from the stock when government is increasing interest rate, you lose everything. But if you are wise, you know how to move it out from the stock market and put it into fixed deposit. Those are 10 million naira is not earning what? A bigger interest rate, because government is increasing interest rate. So you are making money in that way too. You understand? Maybe the interest used to be like 10%. Government has increased to 20. So instead of, you are now making 20% on your 10 million. When government are okay, let me cut interest rate again to 10%, you move your money out again and buy stocks with 10 million. Those stocks must have come down. You buy it, maybe those stocks were selling at maybe $100 before, but now is at $20. You buy it at $20. You buy it at $20, you repeat the same thing. That is how financial freedom comes to people. But if you don't understand this thing, if you don't understand this game, that is why you see some people say, business is doing well. Business is no longer doing well. When business is doing well, what is happening then? When business is doing well, that means government is cutting interest rates. Whenever I see business doing well, government is cutting interest rates. Yes, they cut interest rates, then the businesses does well. But when they reduce the interest rates, people is okay. something is not going the way it's supposed to be again because of what? The interest rate has been reduced. So this is just what I want to tell you guys today. Hope you guys will get a lot of value from it. Okay. All right, guys. See you tomorrow in another section. Have a lovely day. Bye bye. Do you have any question? Any question? Before I call it a day. Do you have any question? Hmm? Bright. Emmanuel. Samuel. Do you have any question?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. All right. We'll call it a day. Tomorrow we'll continue. But hope you learned something today, right?
All right, sir.
Hope you learned something today.
Of course, sir.
Okay. Like, can you tell me 2 things you learned? Just 2. I know I said a lot of things. Just 2. No, just speak. No problem. You can feel free. Feel free. We are interacting. We also help you. Okay, no problem. If you don't want to speak, I don't know whether you are scared of speaking or something. But no problem. Okay, no problem, guys. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay. Have a lovely day. Aderiogo, you're welcome. You came late to the class today.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. How are you doing?
I wake up late, sir. Sorry, sir.
Okay. So our class continues tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Samuel, are you ready to say something? Okay. All right, guys. See you guys tomorrow.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.